Alright, so this starting out like a complete mess, and what can you even say? Here's a cup of coffee from hours ago, sitting atop a stain that is on the counter, and we we're making it happen though. Is the cool part, because you know what? If you can't, if you're worried about it, look at this. I'm putting that on the coffee table, on the top of a lot of work in progress. It needs to be all cut up, and it feels pretty good to just be kind of talking to myself. This clearly I'm exhausted if I'm moving like this. But this is going to be extremely easy. I'm making a double batch and was thinking about quantity versus quality, and decided to just press film because I didn't have the time to. I wonder if I could stare at the camera or I need a knife. If I could stare at, yeah, I'll look at myself in mirror form and just try to cut away from myself. I don't know if it's reversed, but it actually is reversed. So step one, I was going to film this video and I had no idea what to do it about, and then my friend was talking to somebody who lives in Orange, California. Yeah, we had to look it up. It's in California. That's where Orange is. And probably down there, it's near Disneyland actually. And he said something about, wow, that is too much. But something about like quality versus quantity. And that's coincidentally, talking about quality and quantity, it's the name of a journal. No, it's reversed. And so I started filming because I thought to myself something interesting. When one says quantify this, easy schmeezy. If somebody says qualitify, that's not the same as qualify. Qualify is not the same as quality. Okay, I'll get back to that, but the reality is I could have explained the history of cognitive psychology in literally 10 seconds. It is observing other people as though they were mechanical, because people started to think about that when finally they were getting into the adding machines that had like electricity attached to them, and they were thinking, wait a second, robots. And that's how they got the idea. So that's the history of that field. What is it? It's just a different way of describing what you're observing. I mean, you can't really mess that up too much, but if I was to, you could theoretically explain anything, but if you can explain it really quickly, then that shows that you're trustable with the subject, and that if you can explain it quickly, then people are gonna not know something within that explanation. And qualifying something is when you say, yeah, that's how it is, and and it happens to be also this and also that, and it just kind of goes on and on. I mean, everybody knows, like, yeah, well, that was pretty good, and it was this, so you're adding, right, qualifying. No, yeah, but that's different than explaining a quality. A quality is about see that, ooh, see, here we go. Now we're getting into, because that journal, the journal Quality and Quantity, is shelved according to the Library of Congress, with very close to psychology. It's shelved in the values section, and values are somewhere before psych and after philosophy, so that's what a value is. I'm talking about like virtues and all that. So what was I going to put into here? Something good. And so a value gives you a quality, but it also gives you a quantity. And that's why it's such a good bridge for psychologists who are very concerned with people wanting to not only just talk about themselves and how are you doing today on a scale of 1 to 10. It's very good for intake purposes, and I can show you how this machine works. So you could seriously find a mechanic and you could find a metallurgist who are such experts that you could, I mean, I have no idea how to make this thing, and obviously there's a million parts to it. And then you have to put it into this wall, and if you have ever, okay, I saw this once. This was really cool. Somebody, you see this thing? First time ever I did this. Somebody had cut this right here. And so I took it and I plugged it in, and I had a light socket that was unattached, but it wasn't a regular light socket. It was made of a ceramics. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to give this a go because I would like to have an extra light socket. And I did that, and I don't know, there was an explosion, and the fuses all went out, and yeah, what can you say? I'm not an expert, and if I was to send my schematics, oh yeah, that's the word that I ended up with for my, I was suggested that word. It's a really great word for cognitive psychology. It's like, what's the schematics of the mind? I'm sure that there's a cognitive psychologist who thought of that before. I don't know if they're just trying to have fun and describe people like machines, or if they legitimately think that like that's the best way that you can possibly do it. Oh, because it's the best minds, the best and the brightest mechanics thought about everything that could possibly happen on Earth, and they've already figured out how to describe it according to perfect quantity. And if I was to find an engineer and I said, hey, draw me up a model for a fan, or a cutter thingy, food processor, draw me up one of those, they could do it. And if I was me, amateur, I can't even get these all. There's some whole hazelnuts in there. That's cool. I'm going to throw all these up too. Throw them up. I'm going to throw them in. is a mess. Got this enormous knife. It's not a mess. You really can't go wrong with this much brownies. Maybe that's why I wanted to film it. Because I was like, wow. Because we're doing an event. And I expect all of this to be gone. Just distributed out amongst the world. And I may even have to do this again tomorrow night. And I legitimately intend on doing PowerPoints because I think that it is so worth it. Because I'm not going to remember. You know what? I probably will remember this. If you were to have something that you were going to be the doctor of, and everybody was going to come to you about this one subject forever, and you have to think about it forever, and everybody says, oh, what did you, I mean, it's your name, Dr. Cook, and everybody's like, oh yeah, doctor or what? And then you have to say what your thesis was on. And I say this, and then they say, what is that? What is quantify? So the point is that the entire field of psychology was, I think I have enough butter. This is caramel. I melted it up. I think this is going in quite soon, so I'm going to get the oven going. The entire field of psychology was discovered, it was by a person who, I don't even know what he was talking about. I got to learn how to talk his language. Because this guy knew what he was doing. Obviously, he was onto something. I've gone over this before. I don't know if it makes any difference. I have like a little thingy. I don't know if it makes any difference. I don't even have the wax paper. We're in it now. We're in a mess. We're in a quandary. So, bowl. Where's it? I'm out of bowls. So this is literally what my life has been like, just stacks. I don't even want, you know how, I saw like this perfect YouTube video, and then they said, this is, whatever, I'm not even going to describe a YouTube video. Yeah, there's this sugar. This middle of the room. The point is that I'm going to use this, the sugar that I'm putting into this, I'm going to mix it with caramel, and then mix that for the topping. Whew, I'm so glad I'm filming this. This is like one of those memories. And do you have to make up a word for your thesis? I think that actually used to be a requirement for like the old scientists who were, I don't know, writing and stuff, and they had to actually come up with some word. But my word, the qualify, because qualified just means you're giving your opinion. Okay, well, or you're making an excuse. I don't know, but it's like an excuse without a problem, but I don't qualify anything. I'm a straight as an arrow kind of person. I say it like it is. No qualifying here. But I'm so much happier to be hearing my own voice instead of, I was thinking of and I am going to have to, because I'm doing like just paper cutter. I'm also doing stapler, and then I'm also No, I'm not. I'm done with stapler, but I'm also doing folder, and I'm I'm gonna like throw on the movie. I'm not gonna listen to any more tunes. I'm freaking sick of Leonard Cohen. I mean, I'm not sick of him, but like the like thingy stopped for a minute, and then where did I hear that? Was that a hallucination? I think it was maybe. Where did I hear that? But the music stopped for a little while, and then it was like, where are you? I mean, but it had stopped for a while. Like, I was engrossed, and I'd just forgotten about the music. Okay, so I have enough 3. Can you see how much awesomeness is going to be happening right now? And obviously I have this little bitty oven, so I'm going to have to throw them in the fridge. Do I plate it all now? I have this feeling that it's going to settle into the corners if I plate it all. So I'm going to do this and then just leave the counter a mess, but I don't know how to split this into thirds. Well, the good news is that it looks like there's going to be way more than enough. Of course, I'm talking about like 40,000 people, so we'll see if we run out. Did I forget something? No. The coconut is going on the top of it. Yeah, the entire point of this whole like double thingy, talking about cognitive psych, I'd really gotten into this 2-tiered system in Gödel's theorem, 1931, wherein he very succinctly disproves logical systems. Cover this up, throw it in the fridge. Good thing the fridge is empty. Not completely. Put butter in there. Oh, right. Yeah, the point is that the main way that he disproved the Principia Mathematica was through the fact that it's a self-referential system, and in order to prove the entire thing, he noticed that you actually had to make it 2-tiered system, and make all propositions refer either to an object or a type. It's kind of like Darwin's differentiation of species and trait. He came up with traits. And I guess that actually the entire psychiatric classification system used to be a trait-based system for describing. I gotta look at the previous version of that. There it is. But the point is that it's very intuitive. Like when you hear, oh yeah, well everything is either this or that, then it's very intuitive that you say to yourself, that's not intuitive. And so the point being that I need something metal. That I don't know what the point is. What's the point here? The point is that this is already sweetened coconut, I guess. what can you say? I know that even if it's sweet, it's still gonna be. It's gonna get all caramelized on the top. Plus, I'm putting caramel in there. Is caramel and caramelized? So, yeah, it's a mess though. The real trouble is not so much. I'm just gonna do a little bit. It's not so much when you're talking about a double differentiation like quality or quantity. It's when you get into triples, and that's why the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. That's why they have so many followers. Is because everybody gets real confused when they get into that nonsense. Why is it nonsense? It's because people immediately, when you're sitting there like, okay, I'm working at it, I'm doing my thingy-ma-do, and all of a sudden, you're like paralyzed. You go catatonic. You're just a brain trying to figure out 3 things all at once. And so that's why there's more books written on the subject of the Trinity than there are books on anything else. And if you go to even a typical like public school library, separation of church and state, you still have to walk past all of that, and it's just all exactly the same. What is exactly the same? I'm getting so sad that I have to say goodbye to myself and then go and be paper folder. And we kind of wanted to watch that one. What's her name? She's like autistic in the movie, and she meets this other guy, and she's like listening to tunes. I guess that's how you cure autism, if you give people tunes to listen to, because then they and there we are. Now we're done. Do. Yeah, I didn't even try them yet, but they're very tempting.
Oh yeah. Well, as the heat goes by here, I get the smell too.
There's chocolate chips in it.
Yeah.
So they're melting. They're pretty good, you said?
Well, they're more than pretty good.
Okay, good to know.